Earlier in the year, Jefferson from the South Somerset Ferreters and I set about reducing the squirrel population on a piece of woodland my dad manages. We had success and many squirrels died. Imagine our horror when we return and find that the oak trees in the new plantation are stripped, ground to branches. What we achieved did not work, and more than a dozen oak trees are now on their way out. Not many squirrels enough, is Jaff's first reaction. He has been shooting since 6 AM this morning and he is noticing a change in the squirrels' behaviour.
I've shot 3, found 2 because we've got a steep goyle and one's rolled down in the goyle so I can't collect it. I have actually missed one as well. What's come to the feeder, they haven't actually gone to feed, they've just come and sat on the feeder, not interested in the nuts at all. I think we have run out of nuts anyway, there's only a few left in there. But what I've noticed, they're coming and they're just sitting on top or just mooching around the feeder. They're not actually feeding. So whether it's too early, don't know.
My dad explains the biology of what he reckons has been going on here.
At the top of my list of species that ought to be endangered. But look at the damage they've done to this.
How do you know that's squirrel, not roe?
Well, a roe would be up to about here, and they're much more streaky and lighter damage, and they would rub the velvet off their horns like this, and you get a small patch of damage. This is a squirrel, and here's the shreds of bark. They just stripped it off all the way down. And one asks, why do they do this? When a dominant squirrel is killed or dies, the young bucks move in and display to each other, showing how strong they are and stripping off the bark off these trees. This one is dead. I know it's in full leaf, but the water is being brought up by the wood to the leaves, which make the food and feed it back in the bark, and it doesn't reach the roots. So it's condemned. Roebucks seldom kill the tree because they find a stand where they can where the buck can stand, and he strops his horns on this point. He doesn't girdle it, and so the food can come down from the leaves on the undamaged side, and that will keep it going, but it'll cripple the trees. This is a very nice 12-year-old. I planted it 12 years ago, and it's dead.
Jaff has to agree with my dad, though he is still dead set on squirrel death.
It's like any animal really. If you've got like I suppose an alpha male in its territory, it could keep others away. But the 2 I have picked this morning, they're young boars. So whether I don't know. It's a strange thing because, like you say, buck rabbits, they like their own territory. They'll drive other bucks away. We did shoot quite a few back in January, February. I can't remember how many were males or females, I don't know, but we did make a big dent, so that could have opened up the door for others coming in to claim territory. Everyone wants free food, don't they? Especially me. That's certainly going to attract every squirrel around, really. And we've had this feeder set up now for 2 weeks. It's empty, so there's been a lot of, I suppose birds are feeding on it as well, but how many squirrels have been in there, we don't know. I've shot, like I say, 3 this morning. The only way of telling really is keep coming back over the next few weeks and just see what goes on.
Let's open this up to the floor. Are you a squirrel shooter? Do you think that shooting a dominant boar squirrel or buck squirrel creates a vacuum and attracts other squirrels in and creates that kind of bus shelter vandalism we've seen on the local oak trees? Do you think having the feeder here is what brings in the squirrels and the same happens? Or do you think we've just been incredibly unlucky and the only good squirrel is a dead squirrel? Let me know in the comments below.
What I might try and do, because I don't know how many birds are eating the nuts. I'm guessing quite a large amount of birds, so what I might do is try and make the feeder bird proof but not squirrel proof by introducing like a little flap. Yeah, it's difficult to tell how many squirrels are feeding unless we set up trail cameras again, which is an option. That'll give us an idea.
There you are, answers on a postcard, or better still, in the comments. We will pick up this story and see if we can save the remaining oak trees.